Hello, everyone. My name is Payman. I'm here with Charla. We are a program manager working on the MSIX Packaging Tool. How many of you seen our other MSIX talks, any of them? Okay, so some of this content might look familiar to you, but we'll show you some new stuff at the end. So the main flow for this tool is creating an application package, and Charlotte's going to show it them on that.
Yep. So there's a couple of different workflows that you can do with the MSIX Packaging Tool. And I also want to let you know that the MSIX Packaging Tool is available in the Microsoft Store for free. So I've already gone ahead and downloaded it and launched it here. So we're going to go through just kind of that basic creating an MSIX package that we kind of expect you to do. So we're going to go ahead in here. And the first thing that I'm going to do is select an installer to convert to MSIX. So you can pretty much take in any installer here. Today I'm going to convert a VLC MSI. We also can take in your setup.exe, your click once, all of those within the packaging tool. I'm also going to go ahead and sign the package. This is just good practice, and we encourage you to sign it with a trusted certificate so that you can both get your publisher information and you can verify that your package hasn't been tampered with. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my Contoso trusted certificate and enter in the password here. You also have the option here to enter in your installer arguments. So if you want to run your installer silently, you can go ahead and enter those arguments in there. Moving on, so next you can select your environment. So you can choose to run the MSIX packaging tool on your local machine, or you can choose to do your packaging on a virtual machine. So I am currently running in a virtual machine right now. We recommend doing your conversions in a clean VM so that you don't get any additional, systems running in the background, any bloat in your package, that sort of thing. And so since I'm already on a virtual machine, I'm just gonna create the package on this computer because this is the context that I'm in. So once we get here, as you can see, my package information has already been pre-populated. This is because I supplied that installer on that first page. My publisher name has been filled in to match the certificate that I entered on that first page as well, so that it will be trusted and ready to be deployed as soon as we're done packaging the MSIX. I also want to talk about this installation location down here. This isn't required, but we do generally recommend it as best practice, just kind of to specify and make sure that it's going to the place that you want it to go. So moving on here. So this is where we get to the prepare computer state. So what's going on here is we want to make sure that your environment is set up to do your installation and your conversion process. So on the next page after this, we're going to get into that installation process where we're listening to everything that's going on your computer. So we want to make sure that you're in a clean environment so that when you're actually doing your conversion and your installations and things like that, we're not picking up any extra files or things like that. I also want to touch on this MSIX Packaging Tool driver. So the driver is what allows us to do all of that listening. It's required for the packaging tool. As you can see, it's already installed here. For installing your driver, we generally just recommend make sure you have internet connection, and that and while the tool is in preview, we do also require that you're a Windows insider and you've got that all set up properly, which is to say you're on the fast pace of active development of their latest Windows build. So on the Prepare Computer page, we also recommend that you kind of disable any services that are currently running, because like we said before, we don't want to capture any extraneous data in your package when you're doing that installation. So once we're done kind of preparing our computer and selecting our environment and all that, we'll get into kind of the meat of things. So now we are going to do our installation. So what happens here is we actually go through the setup process, the wizard. If you had specified an installation location earlier, you'll want to make sure it matches up with this one here. And we'll just keep going through the tool and do any installations that you need to do for your VLC player. Now, another thing to consider at this point are any dependencies that your package might have. So if you have any, runtime dependencies like your VC Redis, that sort of thing, at this point, this is when you want to be thinking about those and making sure that you're also getting ready to install those so that those will be packaged with your application so that when you launch it, it will be all captured together. Now, if you have anything like a plugin or a modification, any customizations for your enterprise, those you'll want to package separately as a modification package in our other workflow. So once you're done capturing your main application, doing all of your installations and things like that, we move on to managing your first launch task. So what we have here is we have your all of your entry points or shortcuts. And so what we like to do is we like to go ahead and run that here and just check that that first launch experience for your user is what you want it to be in your enterprise. And so this looks good to me. I think it's got all the things that I need. So I'm going to go ahead and close that. If you don't see the entry points that you're looking for or any of those shortcuts, you can go ahead and browse and we'll check for additional entry points and you can add them to your package. So if you can see off to the left, I created a new shortcut, but I actually don't want that, so I'm going to go ahead and right click to remove that. So if there's any additional installers or shortcuts that showed up that you don't actually want, you can still remove those at this point as well. So then once we're done with that, we're going to go ahead and this is the point where you're kind of validating, like, did I do everything? So we're going to stop listening after this point. So now it's kind of doing that whole packaging step. So it's taking everything that we just did on those last two steps and packaging them all together into your MSIX. So where we, did the whole manual installation of your MSI, we captured that. If you had any additional installers that you ran through, we would capture that as well. Any file changes, that sort of thing, would all be captured in your MSIX package. And sometimes it takes a little bit of time. It's just the nature of a real demo, I guess.
You know it's real.
Yes. All right, cool. So the last step is pretty much just specifying your save location. So you can go ahead and browse and decide where you want to put that. I'm going to put this on my desktop for now. I do also want to call out the file name. So what we've done is we've gone ahead and given it a nice, easy to use file name that's kind of best practices. It's got your package name, your version, your architecture type, and your publisher hash. And what this allows you to do is kind of make sure that it's got all of that information and you're not mixing up your packages. So we're going to go ahead and save that and create our MSIX package. As you can see, it's kind of loading itself up on the desktop there. It'll just take a couple of moments and then we'll have that nice MSIX package that contains all of that information that we just specified going through this workflow. And if there isn't anything that you really got to, or if there's any additional changes or things like that that you want to make during this packaging process or changes that you need to make to your manifest, we're going to go ahead and show you that in just a minute through the package editor, which is a separate, it's still within the MSIX packaging tool, but it's another sort of feature that allows you to crack open your MSIX package and make any of those changes that you need to do. So our package is created. I'm going to close that, and then just to prove that we've got it, I'm going to go ahead and run it here. So as you can see, we've got this nice app installer UI. We can go ahead and install it. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but there's an extra little file down here. So this is actually our conversion template file, which you can use when you're running the command line interface, which is another option for converting your package to MSIX. So then in the future, if you have any updates for your VLC player, you can simply feed it that conversion template file plus the updated package and just get a new MSIX package without having to go through that UI again. All right, and there is our MSIX package.
Okay, so now that we have this package, let's see how we can make some changes to it. One way that we could do this is using the SDK tool. So if I wanted to, I can download the tool, unpack this package, and kind of see a flat folder of all my content where I can see the manifest and my payload, my registry keys, and manipulate them like that way. But we also have a flow for that in the tool, and this is what I really want to show you guys. So I'm going to navigate to this tab, Open Package Editor, browse and select the package that Charla just created. So just point it to that, set open, and open that package. So what I should see here soon is basically all the information from that package shown in the UI. What you're seeing right now is a lot of the information that we capture in the manifest. So you'll see the package name that Charla chose when she was creating this package will show up there, the package display name, the publisher name obviously is there, the display name for that, and the version info. We also have this button here that if I wanted to play with the manifest with the editor of my choosing, I can just do that this way. So say I want to add another entry point here, I can go ahead and play with this file and update it any way I wanted to. Or say I'm creating a new update package, I want to bump up this version, I should be able to do that. Hit save, close it, then I should be able to see this updated in the UI. Okay. Didn't happen, but then we also have this option for signing the package. Once I play with this package and change it in any way, the signature will be going away. So what I need to do is to actually point it to my certificate again and sign it. But before I do that, let me show you some of the other options that you have with this package editor. We have a tab for capabilities. This is another extension in the manifest that you can declare what kind of capabilities you want this application to have. So we have a nice UI for you to be able to kind of check or uncheck some of the capabilities for this package. Next, we have the virtual registry. This is all the registry keys that got added to the package when Charla created this. So I can go ahead and try to browse to one of these keys just to show you what we can do with it. So let's just look at this one. So this is one of the keys that we captured. Let me expand that. So what I can do is I can actually right-click and change the value for this key if I wanted to. I can add a string, a binary, or a D word, or delete it. If I wanted to add a node, I can come to the left nav and right-click here, and add a key and a value over here as well. So say I want to update the group policy for this application, I can do this here without have to reconvert this application. Next, we have the package files. This is all the payload that we captured during conversion, so you should be able to see the assets that we generated or captured from the MSI. VFS is the virtual file system, so all the things that we installed in the program files, these are all captured here. If I wanted to add or remove things, I can do it from here. So again, say I have an updated binary with a new update of VLC. Instead of reconverting it, I can just grab that, put it here, and be done with it without having to reconvert it. So say I've done all my changes, then again, I'm going to have to come here and select my certificate again and add in my password and hitting save. So again, I get to choose where I want to save this new package. I'm going to, again, choose desktop. So right now, again, same step as you saw in the last step of the packager tool. We're adding all the changes to the manifest, updating the registry.dat file, and kind of re-registering everything, and we should have a package pretty soon. You'll see we're working on it. You see the temporary file on the left on our desktop. Now, depending on the size of the package, obviously, this may take somewhere between seconds to minutes, but this is only a 100 megabyte package, I think, so it should take not as long. So once I have this package, I should be able to just double click and update the one that Charla already installed on the machine because I versioned it up, so it counts as an update package. So we got the success dialog. Now I can go ahead and double click that. You'll notice that now I have an update button instead. So I can just go ahead and do that. Now we do have differential updates, so what's happening is we're not actually installing everything again. We're only installing the changes. In this case was just a manifest, so it's going to go very quickly. We're going to re-register it, and then we should have the launch button and be able to launch that. Hopefully soon. And there we go. So we have a few minutes. Let's take some questions. Please. I'm sorry?
My own pipeline and DevOps and BSTS, would I be able to integrate this?
Yes. I'm assuming the Visual Studio is non-converted, so that Visual Studio is not an MSIX package. You have a existing.
Using BSTS as a
So Visual Studio will be adding support for creating MSIX packages too. So the other thing you can do is from your build system, you'll be able to add an MSIX packaging project to your solution. Right. Yeah. Oh, sure. I'll do the next time. Any other thing?
So this is a capture tool, much like Studio back in the day, whatever. How do you preserve, if you're repackaging a third-party exe file, how do you preserve any vendor logic or install logic in there? Like if application B is installed to this too, you're doing it on a clean machine, you have to run through every scenario and create an MSIX package.
So the scenario is you have different packages. They do.
One vendor executable for an installation, but it has logic in there that says if you have Visual Studio installed or something else, then install this little bit too. But if you're creating your MSIX package on a complete machine, you're obviously going to have.
No, we don't have that logic to check for installation for other packages. The question was whether you can actually check for another installation before you do something. That's currently not supported.
How would you go about that? Create a number of
Yes, you would have to create two separate packages and deploy them differently.
Question, if you had several, go back to this question a bit, you had applications that had to install them in a sequence, chaining them together, can you do that in a single MSIX, or you just create a passive SSD?
So the question is whether you can install multiple applications with the same MSIX
In a specific sequence.
You can install them all at once if you all package it in the same application. Are these apps related to each other at all?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's why you have to do it in sequence,
Right.
because installing them one, and application two has got dependencies on application one, so you have to have it installed. So I think the answer to the question is about the passive.
Yes.
Okay.
Any question? Yes.
support like File Explorer, right-click, any functionality?
The packaging tool?
No, what's the MSIX application itself? Like the output, right?
Oh, yeah.
It adds.
Yes, you can register for file context menus. Yeah, it's done in the manifest.
Install an MSIX package on Windows 7 or older version of Windows 10, or is there a minimum build number that can open and read and install an MSIX?
So question is, can you install MSIX packages on Windows 10 or Windows 10 down level or Windows 7? So for Windows 7, you do have to install an SDK. We do have the preview available right now, so you can do that. But on Windows 10, you do need to be on 1809 release. Correct. Sure.
What about bootstrapping? Like, if I need a .NET 4.6.1, currently I can offer to download and install it for you on
Yeah.
MSI.
You cannot bootstrap other Redis packages like that. So .NET is an optional package to Windows. So that needs to be deployed outside of the MSIX.
So can at least check and say you need to have this installed for it to
Well, hopefully the application does check for that and won't run, right? Let's follow up on that. Any other questions?
About the same scenario as C++ runtime?
So C++ runtimes, we do support them as framework packages for VC 10, 12, and 14. So what happens is when you do the conversion, we realize that VC binaries got laid down, and we add a line, a dependency to the manifest that lets the store know to bring down the VC libraries down as well if you're going through the store. If not, you can basically package those binaries with the application itself and deploy them that way. What if they're native on the system? Yeah, it should work. Yeah. No. Any other questions? Servers are not supported right now, but we're working on it. 2019 timeframe. It is not open source right now, but we develop it with open source in mind, so we're working on that. All right, thank you everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
Please try the tool, give us feedback.
Yeah.
We have some
also have
stickers here.
Yeah, stickers up on the top here.
Had a thought. The gentleman's question about